Let's go with movies of the week, guys. Actually, no, first, we're going to do books. We're going to do the books of the week. We got 2 classics coming at you this week. I'm kind of on a sci-fi kick, so we're going to do 2 of maybe my 2 favorite books of all time. One is called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by a guy named Douglas Adams. It is fucking badass. It's got the 2 best words you'll ever hear in the entire English language. Don't panic. That's it. Don't panic. It's about an English guy whose world gets destroyed inside the first 5 minutes, and he's got to learn to loosen the fuck up and accept what comes at him. And whenever he makes plans, when the plans don't go to his way, he can't whine like a bitch. Even though he does the whole movie, the whole book, and it's fantastic. The movie's a pretty decent representation of that. In fact, both our books today are 2 of the only book to movies that I both enjoy, like through and through. Our second book is Dune by Frank Herbert. Another book from the 80s, fantastic sci-fi book. It's an entire universe, a different universe, and it's all about political intrigue and what it's like to be a messiah and what it's like to have to live up to somebody's standards and the weirding way and all kinds of fucking badassness. Yeah, I don't even know if that's a word, but it is now, goddammit, because I just said it. So, check those out. You can get those 2 particular books fucking anywhere. Anywhere. I guarantee you, if you have any kind of friends that are cool at all, they'll have at least one of those. And if the person you're dating, guys or girls, the person you're dating doesn't own one of those 2 books, don't fuck them. Don't fuck them. I'm not saying break up with them. I'm not saying stop sleeping with them. But you need to find out why. You need to find out why they don't have those. If they have the movies adaptations, that's okay. That's a step. No big deal. But they really ought to have the books. All you have to do is go back to a book. The book of the week this week is called Oil, ironically enough, by a guy named Upton Sinclair. And it has everything and nothing to do with today. It's all about what people in the 30s were willing to do, the 1900s and the 30s were willing to do to get to oil to make the money. And that was good then. But because of that kind of flop logic and that kind of formula, it still exists today when it doesn't need to. And that's just wrong. Period. End of story. It's 2010. We should have fucking flying cars now. We can't even make a goddamn rocket pack that won't last for more than 3 minutes. Watch Kick-Ass. The only problem with Kick-Ass I have is the end of it. That rocket pack part is fucking total bullshit. Now, new movies, go see Jonah Hex. I liked it a whole fuckload. I went and took my dad for Father's Day. It's badass. I personally enjoyed it. It's nothing like any other comic book movies. It's a very specific kind of movie. It's like Crank meets Deadwood. And if you know what those 2 things are, you're a listener of this show. It's pretty much guaranteed right there. Now the other movie is Dune for this week because A, the book was badass, B, my friend Eric just watched it and reminded me of it, C, I'm going to go home and watch it tonight, and D, it's fucking David Lynch. If you don't know who David Lynch is, go rent one of his movies. Instead of me saying something asshole and condescending and smart ass, go rent one of his movies. And if you don't like them, don't ever listen to my show again. They're going to be a little rough. I recommend Blue Velvet first. Movies this week. All right. From now on, this segment is called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. We have The Good. A movie called Mutiny and the Bounty. It's a classic book that we were all forced to read when we were kids. It's about taking orders when you should and when you shouldn't. It's about seamen and the Navy and all that kind of shit. But more importantly, it's about taking orders when and when you don't need to. It's about a guy who's a captain, been around for forever, is kind of an asshole. And the first mate, who's the really go-lucky guy that everybody likes, ends up taking charge. And he does a shitty fucking job of it once he does. So they end up actually needing the guy at the end. Mutiny on the Bounty, Marlon fucking Brando, Richard Harris. Check it out. The one with Anthony Hopkins and Mel Gibson's cool because you see a lot more titty and that's kind of cool. So if you got to, check that one out. But it's a different time. You need to go check that out. Next. The Bad. And I don't know if this is bad. This is just fucking weird. It's called The Good, the Weird, and the Ugly. Let's put it that way. The movie's called Tomorrow I'll Wake Up and Scald Myself with Tea by Jindit Polak. It's a Czech Republic movie about Nazis if they were still alive today and what Hitler would be doing if he had smartened up, quote unquote, and played ball instead of just killing everybody. He still killed millions of Jews, but everybody forgave him because he stopped and played ball. And everybody, quote unquote, forgave him. And what happens when you let a guy who gets away with that stay in politics? It's a comedy. It's a dark motherfucking comedy, and it is wacky. But you should check it out. It's called Tomorrow I'll Wake Up and Scald Myself with Tea. It's in the I think it's in the news section right now. But you should really check it out because it'll be in the weird section. Just let me put it this way, real quick. Never mind. Oh wow, that's even more fucked up than I thought it was. Never mind. Wow, you really ought to check that up because if I tell you what it says on the back, it ruins the ending, and I'm not gonna tell you that they're aliens at the end of Indiana Jones 4. Oops! Spoiler alert. So the last, we've got to end on a nice note, end on a happy note. Bubba Hotep. Maybe one of the best movies ever made, if you ask me personally. It does what few movies of this genre do, and you forget what kind of movie it is. You remember when you were watching Shaun of the Dead? How all of a sudden you're about to tear up when he has to shoot his mom? And you're like, holy fuck, I'm watching a zombie movie. And I care. I really genuinely care. Not like in that whole, oh, I hope they live, da da da. Like you are fucking caring. Alright, this movie Bubba Hotep. First of all, Bruce Campbell. Boom! Bruce Campbell as Elvis. Holy shit, Ossie Davis. Ossie Davis' last movie, classic black, unbelievable actor who's captain of the civil rights movement. Ossie Davis as JFK. Yeah. The deal is Elvis lives in a retirement home in Texas because he traded places with an Elvis impersonator. So he's living in a shitty retirement home in Texas, and his best friend is Ossie Davis, a black guy who thinks he's JFK, who thinks they turned him black. A mummy comes out of nowhere and starts to haunt the place, and they end up having to fight him. All right, on many different levels, this is a bunch of different kind of movies. Right off the bat, it's a horror flick. Just looking at it. Another level past that, it's Bruce Campbell as Elvis. Another level past that, it's fucking hilarious. But the main thing this movie is about to me is what we do with our elderly. This movie is about what happens when we don't care about our elderly anymore and we just shove them in a place where we don't have to watch anymore. We don't have to care. We don't have to pay attention. All we have to do is show up with a cake every now and then or with that piece of toffee cake that they haven't liked in 10 years but you think they still love. Or a phone call. What we do with our elderly, we drop them the fuck off and stop paying attention to them anymore. Pretty much what we're doing with the new healthcare system. As I talk about bringing it in and on a fucking good note, I bring it back down again like I always do. Check it out though, because it's fucking hilarious. It's Bruce Campbell as Elvis. I mean, come the fuck on, man. What else do you need? And on another note, you really got to check it out because on the commentary, you have to rent the DVD because on the commentary, there's an entire commentary track with Elvis Presley. With Bruce Campbell as Elvis, but him doing Elvis the whole time. That's almost as good as the movie. Almost.